Hey, bitches, it's Joel, and we are back. It's that little gay talk show, y'all. Let's play a little theme music, shall we? And it's that little gay talk show. I'm your host, Joel Tatum. It's time to get foolish up in here. Hashtag foolish. Hashtag I'm back. I took a break last week because I just wanted to have like a little me time and to think about what are we going to talk about this week? And let me tell you something. It has been a joy for the last couple of weeks. I have been out and about, hitting the park. Getting outside of the house and, of course, I'm social distancing, of course. Me and my best friend have been running the park, so to speak, trying to get some exercise in. I'm trying to lose a few pounds from sitting around, eating junk food and drinking a little too much. And I said, you know what? After rubbing my belly several times, I love my little belly. I really, really love my belly, but it's getting too big, and I have put on a few more pounds than I should have. So, yes, so we have been out in the park, Memorial Park, that is. We are broadcasting live from, well, not live, but we are broadcasting from Houston, Texas. Beautiful, gorgeous day, just a beautiful day. This blue skies, it's a little hot. It's been a little hot, but it's May in Houston. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. For some of us, we're still in quarantine for the most part. Some of you are getting back out and about. A few places have opened up. I'm not back at work yet. I think I have a little while longer before I have to go back to work. A couple of the locations that I work at have not opened yet. So we're just sitting and relaxing, chilling. We bought a few things to work out. I bought some new shorts and T-shirts, did that kind of thing. Picked up some new running shoes. I'm going to put this out here. I bought running shoes at a decent price. I'm not one of those people to run out and buy shoes, tennis shoes especially. Never have been one of those people who spent hundreds of dollars on a pair of tennis shoes. I always thought that was just completely ridiculous to spend that kind of money. Now, that's me personally. If you like to spend hundreds of dollars on tennis shoes, that's you. And I applaud you for wanting to spend that kind of money. The thing is that I have seen people spend that kind of money when they don't have that kind of money. Your outfit shouldn't cost more than your rent, so to speak. You should be paying your rent and keeping the lights on. It's nice to have a pair of Jordans while you're sitting in the dark somewhere because you needed to have a pair of Jordans that, by the way, you can only wear around the house because you are not going to take a pair of Jordans outside. And if you do, you buy one pair to wear and you buy one pair to keep so that you can, look at them every now and then and that kind of thing. But once again, I just don't see why I would spend hundreds of dollars on, shoes. So if I spend that kind of money in shoes, it's usually dress shoes because, a guy has to look nice every now and then. So I'll spend that money on shoes, but I'm not on dress shoes. But I'm not one to spend that kind of money on tennis shoes, especially when all I'm going to do is work out in them or run in them. And speaking of running, let me tell y'all something. For a few of y'all out there who know me, I'm not a runner. Okay. The last time I ran was back in 2000 was the last time I ran. And these knees are not the knees of who I was back in 2000. We've had to get some braces. Well, not braces, but, the little knee supports to, so that I can, I don't even think it's running, really. I don't really do that. Even now, it's like I sprint a few hundred feet, and then I walk. and then I sprint a few 100 feet more, and then I walk, and then I walk, and then I walk, and then I listen to some music. And if it's a particularly good song, you might see me on the track, like moving my shoulders and hips a little bit. I always try to do it when there's a little track in Memorial Park, and it's a circular track. Well, it's an oval. Is it an oval or circular? No, it's an oval track. And there's trees in the middle, plenty of trees in the middle. So when you get around to the part where the trees, when you get around it, you can see the streets through the trees. So when I get around that part, that's when I start to, shake the hips a little bit, put it on my favorite song, and, kind of do my thing. I do a lot of fast walking. And then the little wooded area in the middle, I'll get in there and I'll do some push-ups and sit-ups. I'll lay my little towel down and do some push-ups and sit-ups and that kind of thing. We didn't do that today, though. Today we did it a little differently. We went to Herman Park, and we went to the back area of the park. Now, normally the few times that I've gone to Herman Park, I usually just take the front part of the park near the zoo, and I go walk that trail that goes past the big hill to Miller Outdoor Theater and all around into the park. Sometimes I go into the Zen Gardens, which are very lovely. If you happen to be in the park, it's so serene. Hit the Zen Garden if you can. But we were on the other side of the park where the golf course is. And you know what? I have lived in Houston almost a majority of my life. And I have said this so many times to so many different people. There are still parts of Houston that I have not been. It's amazing how, I live in near downtown, Montrose, West U, Kirby District. I kind of all around me. And so I tend to stay in the neighborhood. So I venture out very little and out of the neighborhood because, I don't like any other neighborhood. I really just do not like any other neighborhood. I love living where I live. And it's a little bit pricey to live where I live. But for the price, you get the convenience of everything's within blocks. There are bars, there are restaurants, all kinds of entertainment within blocks of each other. If you want more, you take the train into downtown, and there's plenty to do downtown. Oh my God, downtown Houston, there's plenty of things to do. You can get your picture taken with the homeless in front of the fountains. You can get your picture taken with the homeless in front of any of the number of stadiums downtown, none of which I go to unless there's like a Lady Gaga concert or any of that stuff. I do like to go to sporting events every now and then, simply because I'm a virile gay man, and there's nothing more entertaining than watching men bounce into each other, flop onto each other, kick around each other, run, and little pats on the butt and little grabbies here and there. And it's kind of cute. And I wish, though, I really do wish, not a big basketball person. Surprise, surprise. Never have been a basketball person. And I think the reason why I am not a basketball person, and I think I've told this story before, is that I spent part of my time in my childhood in majority white schools. And I was never athletic at all. I don't understand why I kept getting picked for teams. It was baseball, football, and basketball. I was always the first one picked. And the first round, and I knew as a kid that I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get picked first. I'm the black guy. I'm the only black guy in this class, and I'm going to get picked first. That didn't last because once they saw me play, I got picked last, or I didn't get picked at all. And if it turned out that I would be the odd man out, I was perfectly okay with it. I was 100% okay with it. Simply, I would just go to the library, get a book, sit under a tree, And it was me, Encyclopedia Brown, and my imagination. And if for those of you out there who know who Encyclopedia Brown is, good for you. You had a wonderful childhood. I think I've read all of those books. The Three Investigators with Alfred Hitchcock. Oh my God. Those were amazing. Those were like super chilling. Look, Nancy Drew was the shit. The Hardy Boys, they were okay, but you know, they were cute, but in a 1950s way. I love the fact that I would read the earlier stuff, like from the 50s and 60s, and the hair was different and everything else. And late 70s, early 80s, they started to modernize them a little bit. So, they went from, Nancy Drew went from, looking like I don't know what that hairstyle was in the 50s, but I know that she just had that little headband thing, looking something like a short-haired version of Daphne from Scooby-Doo, which I think might be the inspiration. I think Nancy Drew was the inspiration for Daphne in a small way. And those little short skirts, the short dress skirts or whatever they called them, that kind of thing. Until, the 70s, where she was wearing bell bottoms and a cute little blouse. And I think she went, now, correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you who are, let's say got a little bit of gray under the chin, so to speak. You've been foolish for quite some time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought she started off as a redhead. And I think in the 70s, it felt like she became a blonde. And am I wrong about that? Because I thought in the earlier issues, she started off as a redhead. Now, I could be wrong, but I know that by the 70s, she suddenly had blonde hair. And I'm like, what was wrong with her being in the red? Now, the Hardy Boys, the same way. They both had dark hair in the early 50s. And then by the 60s and 70s, one had dark hair and the other one had blonde hair. And they, of course, bell-bottom pants and the shirt. I loved all those books. There were no people of color in the books. But, you kind of ignore that when you're a kid, when you're a young black kid coming up. So you kind of ignore that. You get lost in your own family. You become Nancy Drew. You become one of the Hardy Boys. You become Encyclopedia Brown or any of the guys from the Three Investigators. So you easily turn into that character. And, the Three Investigators, which I think was one of my favorites out of all the books that I read, because there was action. I think there was murder. If I recall, there was murder, I think. Once again, y'all can correct me. Please correct me. ThatLittleGayTalks.com. Y'all can always correct me if you want. But yeah, so those are the books that I grew up when I would get left out of gym. And let me tell you something. That went all the way. Luckily, by the time I got to middle school and high school was an all-black school. And then high school was a very mixed school. I mean, a little bit of everybody. So by the time I got to high school, the option of getting out of gym was right there. And that's when I joined ROTC. And ROTC, let me tell you something. For those of you out there who know me in real life, if I have mentioned that I was once in Army ROTC, you should be laughing right now, because I was horrible in ROTC. Sam Houston High School, ROTC, was the worst in the entire city. I mean, we were worse. We were basically, if you made a movie that combined a little bit of a Revenge of the Nerds and a little bit of any other 80s comedy with a group of guys who were all misfits, who all won the big major thing at the end, that was us. Although we never won the big major thing at the end, we were just doing our thing. And I remember one time I skipped ROTC for 100 days. I took ROTC to get out of gym, but for the first 100 days of ROTC, I just showed up. My name was called, and then I left. And I went to lunch, and Sam Houston had 3 lunch periods at the time. So I would sit through all 3 lunch periods with 3 different groups of friends because they all took classes differently, and just sit in the courtyard. And smoking was allowed, and I was smoking at the time. I got caught up in the smoking craze. And so we would sit out in the courtyard, we'd smoke, and we were the cool kids. And that's what I was kind of cool in high school. I wasn't like, the most popular guy, but I was kind of cool. I had a great sense of humor, and I was smart. So when I would have classes with any of the jocks or anything, I'd just let them copy up my papers, or I'd do their homework. And that led to me not getting beatings, because I spent most of the elementary school getting beat up, mostly by girls. I never understood that. I always got beat up by girls. Not too many guys. But I did in middle school have a little incident, but my middle brother took care of that. I was never one for fighting, even when I was a kid. I was the one for screaming and crying and long debates with teachers. I think I made a teacher cry in elementary school one time because I got tired of getting beat up by the same girl every week, and she was a big girl. I always got beat up by very good big girls. I do not understand. I mean, she was taller than everybody in the class. And I know that at the time, I was not the most well-dressed kid in school, very poor at the time. So I got picked on a lot, but it was always by girls. Always by girls. Not a lot of guys picked on. I think guys felt sorry for me, but girls just hated me. Oh my God. Girls just hated me, and I could not figure out why. I didn't want much to do with girls at the time. I wasn't a typical gay kid. I thought girls were okay, but I wanted to be with the boys. I wanted to hang out with the boys. I didn't really care that much for girls. So I think that maybe that might have had something to do with it. But I just wanted to hang out with the boys. I really didn't care that much. And, of course, by the time I got to middle school, I had my crushes and everything. And had a little crush on a little girl. Her name was Angela, and she was just gorgeous. I was going to Kirby Middle School, and it was a very unusual environment. Let me describe the environment, because a lot of black people will understand this. For the rest of you, you're going to be very confused by this, but I was very confused by this. But when I was a kid in middle school, the middle school that I was going to, there seemed to be there was a bit of classism. The lighter skin that you were, the better you were, the better you were considered. So I was sat in the middle. I wasn't super light skinned, but I was not I'm a little bit browner, and that's Houston. Summer rolls around, you get out and like I said, I've been running around out in the sun with my little tank tops on. I even have the tank top. I took my tank top off the other day, looking in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, I'm tan. I'm so tan. And you see the little tank top mark across my chest. So I've gotten a lot of sun, and because I have eczema, and I have it really bad on my legs. I don't have it as bad. I have the scars from it on my arms, from having a bacterial infection. I think last year, and having to be put on very strong antibiotics, which caused my skin to break out and my eczema to return in full force. So my arms still have the scars, and my legs, I still get eczema on my legs. I get these really dry patches on my legs, and they are horrific. For the longest time, I refused to wear shorts. I think all of last summer, I did not wear shorts at all. I was too ashamed of my legs because they would break out and they would get itchy and red and weepy, and it was just it was so disgusting. And so this summer, well, summer hasn't arrived yet. It's been unusually May has been a little unusual in Houston. This is the first time in a while that it's gotten a little warm outside. The last couple of weeks we were kind of cool. And if you live in Houston, we're all in quarantine at the time. So if you're looking around, if you step outside, you're like, why is it 60 degrees outside in May? It really caught us by surprise. Mother Earth is trying to tell y'all something out there. Mother Earth is telling us something. I'm telling you. You've got floods in Michigan. You've got a typhoon headed towards, I think, Bangladesh. You've got all kinds of things going on. Mother Nature's trying to tell y'all something. Y'all better get to work. Better get out there. Get to work. Mother Earth is calling. She is pissed off. Okay, she's starting to understand who the real virus is. It might be us. So, and anywho, well, we're back to, like I said. Oh, should I finish that story about middle school? Oh, let me finish that story. So, so it was a class system. So basically and like I said, the lighter, and I thought that was the most unusual thing. I never heard of that until I moved to Texas. And like I said, the lighter skin you were, the better you were. And the darker skinned kids, were, well, they weren't treated so well. So I was in the middle. I still got made fun of. I mean, you're looking at a little guy with big lips, not the most attractive kid, but kind of lanky, clumsy. I went through a period, and I know this is going to, I feel like I'm revealing a little too much, but I'm going to reveal it anyway. It wasn't until 6th grade that I finally got it down to which shoe goes on which foot, basically put. I wore my shoes on the wrong foot up until 6th grade. Smart at everything else. My dad, smart at everything else, but you're just so dumb. It's dumb when it comes to the basic things. So I had a hard time tying my shoes, which still lasts to this day. I think, Joel, you need to tie your shoe has been the statement that I have heard literally my entire life. Joel, you need to tie your shoe. Everywhere I go, Joel, you need to tie your shoe. I will tie my shoe in 15 different knots, and somehow or another, they almost always manage to come loose. I have even bought shoes. I bought a pair of work shoes where the shoestring was just decoration, and all you had to do was slip these shoes on, and still I managed to have. Still, my shoestrings were untied. Ain't that a bitch? Bought a pair of shoes where the shoestrings were just for decoration, and my shoes still were untied. I couldn't help but to laugh because I finally buy a pair of decent work shoes that are slip-ons, and I still have my shoes untied. So, I went through that. And thankfully enough, being smart... Kids, being smart is the shit. If you are a kid and you are smart, being smart, if it will save your life. I'm telling you right now, you have to be the smart kid because it will save your life. And if you use it the way that I use it, it will keep you from getting bullied, unless you were a girl, and then you beat me up all the time. Even in middle school, all the girls made fun of me. Even in middle school, I remember one girl going, "How is it that you're so light-skinned and yet so ugly?" And I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay. So what's the answer to question 4?" I'm like, "You literally just called me ugly, but you want the answer to question 4. Great. That's just wonderful." But like I said, I had an adolescent crush on Angela Davis. Just beautiful. She had green eyes. She had this long blondish hair and very, very fair skinned, little black girl. And she had a boyfriend who was, oh my God, he was the shit. He was an eighth grade. He was just an eighth grade Shamar Moore. I mean, he was for eighth grade. Yeah, I could see why they were together. I mean, they were the shit in middle school. They were the couple. And I think that I knew that I no longer had a crush on Angela Davis when I saw her boyfriend. And I went, Angela, you're beautiful and you will make someone a fine trophy wife someday. She wasn't very smart. She was kind of nice to me, though. So I will say that. She was one of the few girls that was actually kind of nice to me, which is probably why I had a crush on her. And why, for the first time, there was actually a girl who felt bad for me. Most girls never felt bad for me, but it was the first time that a girl actually felt bad for me. So, but she wasn't the brightest bulb at all. I would hope that by the time she got to high school, which I did not see her, we had moved. I wanted to go to the same high school as she did, but thankfully enough, that did not happen. So if I don't know if Angela Davis is even still out there. If you're listening to this show, Angela, you're obviously a lesbian now. Or you are, you're a suburban housewife who just likes gay humor. I have no idea. That's a shout out to someone whose name I'm not going to say, but that's a shout out. So that's the opening segment of this show. That's me reminiscing about being. I think a couple of things that we have learned from this moment. We have learned that Joel got beat up a lot. Joel got beat up a lot by girls. And now we understand that is not the reason why we are gay, by the way. That is not the reason why we're gay. But it does explain a lot. It does. I should be, honestly, when I think about it, let's see, from elementary to middle school. It stopped in high school. Thank God it stopped in high school. Girls just completely ignored me in high school for the first 2 years. And then the last 2 years of high school, I had a lot of girl buddies. And I was going through my punk rock phase. Well, it's not even a punk rock phase. Well, yeah, it was a punk rock phase at the time. And so I ended up with a lot of girlfriends who were friends. I recall Lucy Guajardo, who just reached me on Facebook, by the way. She found me on Facebook. She used to be my best buddy from Spanish class. And she and I used to hang out together and everything else. And one night we went to a Depeche Mode concert. If you don't know who Depeche Mode is, please Google it. I don't have time to explain. So we went to a Depeche Mode concert, and it was the first time that I smoked weed. No, it's not the first time I smoked weed. I only say that because if my parents are listening, that was the first time I smoked weed. But you now heard me, so that was not the first time I smoked weed. But we smoked weed on the hill at Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. And it was I think they had just opened, and it was one of the first few concerts. And it was in the Woodlands. I don't think I'm going to go any further than that. But it was the first time, and we sat on the hill, and I got really high. And I said, "Would you like to be my girlfriend?" And she said, "No, because you're gay." And I went, "What?" She goes, "No, because you're gay, and, it's just not going to work. I love you, but you're gay." And officially, she was the first person I came out to. So, Lucy, if you're listening, you were the first person who I came out to, although you already knew, but I came out to you, but you already knew. So it was the first. I think amazing how a woman has been such an influence in my young life. Such an influence, either on the bad side and finally on the good side, which is probably where I healed. I don't think that I hated girls. I just think that I attracted anger. I just made girls angry. I think I just made girls angry a lot. And and like I said, I didn't even want to have anything to do with them, really. I really wanted to play with the boys. And I had a reason for wanting to play with the boys. I wanted to play with the boys. So yeah, so I was not. Yeah, I was not one of those queens. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. In this day and age, you kind of have to say there is nothing wrong with that. I don't want no hate mail. Do not send me any hate mail. I do not want any hate mail. So, welcome to the first half of that little gay talk show, where we talked about my childhood, where we got all into my childhood. We're going to take a little bit of break. The reason why that I brought up gay, we will hear in the next parts of the show, because I have been having a good time with gay media lately. At first, it wasn't looking too good, but I just started having a good time. So I'm going to put us on a break, and we will be right back. Hey, y'all, I'm back. We had a few minutes where I drank some iced tea, not Texas tea, regular iced tea, because we are in Texas, in the South. Although Houston, really, I don't even know if Houston is really considered a southern city. I know Dallas is very southern, but I don't know if Houston is really, Texas cities are unusual. Austin is like very conservative, is very liberal, but more California-ish, kind of with a sense of with a New York kind of vibe going on. New York, Los Angeles kind of vibe going on in Austin. San Antonio is very culturally rich, very culturally Hispanic city, very rich in culture, very rich in history. Dallas is very cosmopolitan, or so they like to think. But they are very cosmopolitan. I will say this for people who live in Dallas. You are very pretty people. You really are. All the money that you put into it, you really, really are very pretty people. But Houston is hard to describe. We are not any of the other cities. We're not glamorous. We're very, I like to think that we're very working class kind of city, which makes us we're kind of like the Pittsburgh of Texas. If that's right to describe. Pittsburgh is a great city. I've been to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a great city. But it's all about Philadelphia. Am I correct? So so Houston, even though the largest city in Texas and the third to fourth largest city in the country, depending on how you look at it, we're kind of like the Pittsburgh of Texas. We're not a bad city. We're just not, we're not considered exciting enough. So, if things go wrong here, we're on the national news. But anything that's going on good, that's just the nature of Houston. So, we're all crawling out of quarantine a little bit. We're all stepping out a little bit. Like I said, I went to the park. I have been out to eat a couple of times. And let me tell you, the restaurant situation out there is pretty bleak. There's not a lot of people out during lunch. I don't know what dinner is. I'm not really into going out to dinner that much. And like I said, because my best friend and I, we go to the park and we go running and everything. We do go grab a bite to eat afterwards because I got to have some protein afterwards. So we do go do that. So, yeah, but the restaurant situation right now, there's not a lot of people out and people are still quarantining themselves. People are getting out a little bit. Now, there was a story. I did see this on the internet on Facebook. Good Lord. Swear to God, Houston, where a guy was walking around the Galleria and there are people not wearing face masks. There are people not social distancing. Houston has been very, very, very lucky. Our cases here have been very low for a large city. Our cases have been very low. So we've been keeping it. We've been kicking it. Quarantine. We've been kicking it in quarantine, y'all. We have been kicking it in quarantine. Houston has had a very low rate, a very low infection rate. So we've been kicking it. And here it is. It's mid-May. It's Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Houstonians have been cooped up for quite some time, and I think they're getting a little anxious. And so going to the Galleria, which, by the way, I don't understand the big deal about the Galleria. I thought most of those stores were closed. Retail is not doing very well right now. A lot of retail, JCPenney, Sears is gone. I think you can still order stuff. I think they still have like little outlet stores where you can still get appliances and stuff, but I think for the most part, Sears is gone. JCPenney filed for bankruptcy. We lost Pier 1 Imports. I think we lost Forever 21. So we've lost a lot of retailers. Everybody's online. Everybody is making Amazon rich. By the way, I don't understand people who buy. Why do you buy clothes on Amazon? Please don't buy clothes on Amazon. They're terrible. I bought a coat, an extra large, on Amazon. It was a cute pea coat. I have wanted a pea coat for quite some time. And I used to go to my little place, Buffalo Exchange, which I need a moment of silence. Buffalo Exchange. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's so gone. I'm verklempt right now. Buffalo Exchange. If you don't, for those of you out in the world, everybody has this little shop in every major city. There's this little shop where you have vintage clothes, where you have, I hate to use the term used because that almost sounds like Goodwill or Salvation Army, but you can find. I'm a big T-shirt guy. I love funky, unusual T-shirts. Even though all the YouTube videos have told me that a man of my age should not be wearing those kind of T-shirts. You're too old for that. I don't care, by the way. I love funky, unusual T-shirts. And I would go to Buffalo Exchange and find funky T-shirts. And the jeans, oh my God, low-rise jeans. I can still get away with low. Now, I have to admit that now we are exercising because I'm trying to get the belly down. I'm not looking, I think I should make this quite clear. I'm not looking for a 6-pack or a 12-pack or any pack. That's too much work. Do you know how much work it goes into getting your belly to have those kind of muscles? I don't mind. I like the idea of getting a chest, and I like the ideas of getting some arms. And, I'm not really all that about getting like a 12-pack or a 6-pack. I'm not really. That's a lot of work. Oh my God. That is, I don't mind. If I could have the surgery, I would have the surgery because the work that it goes into just to get, it takes forever. So I'm only looking for Dad Bod Plus. And Dad Bod Plus means that you have everything else and just a flat tummy, but there's no definition there. And that's really what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to be, and I realize that this is a lifestyle that is probably going to go on for a long time. I got hopes and dreams, and I'm 52, and I need to start, and I'm really wanting to get out there and do those dreams. And I realized something. I need to be able to physically, mentally, be able to do the things that I want to do. So yes, getting in shape is the biggest part of the reason why I'm out there trying to run and why I'm doing as many push-ups as I can and as many sit-ups as I can and knee bends and buying knee braces and tennis shoes and all this stuff. It's because I've got big hopes and dreams, and I have put them on the back burner for so long for so many different other people. But I'm ready to start doing that for me. And I realized that from looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I'm not going, oh, Lord, Joel, you talking about doing stuff. look at how you look. You are not going to be in shape to do any of that stuff, which is why, once again, I quit smoking a few months ago, and I have been smoke-free ever since. Although I have to say that I have watched a lot of television, and there have been a lot of television shows where people have been smoking, and I crave a cigarette every time. Every time. Now, if I'm out and about and I see someone smoking, the idea of that stinky ass cigarette near me, no, I don't want to do that. It's just awful. I do not want to pick up a cigarette. But when I'm laying at home and I'm watching someone and they're smoking a cigarette, and then suddenly I'm like, oh Lord, a cigarette would be so good right now. And you know what? To be honest, I think if I picked up a cigarette now, I would feel so guilty about it with all the work that I did to quit. And quitting is not easy, folks. For those of you who've been non-smokers and you've been telling smokers they need to quit and how easy it is not easy to quit. Especially, I smoked for 30 years. 30 years. And it is not, no, maybe longer than that. I think, about 30, 35 years. And it is not easy to quit, folks. It is not easy. The withdrawals are, oh my God. I don't even want to describe the type of pain. I think if you have, let's say, if you measured pain on the scale from childbirth to a light, to a light little paper cut. And by the way, paper cuts do sting. They do sting, but they don't. I mean, it's not up there with childbirth. I have no idea. As a man, have no idea what that pain is like. That's why I put it at the very top, because I have no idea what that pain is like. Absolutely no idea. But I've seen enough in real life to understand that I am glad to be a man. And even better so, glad to be a gay man. So, yeah. So on that scale, when you think about it, it's probably somewhere in the middle. And yeah, that's what withdrawal feels like. It's somewhere in the middle. And the pain of that, for the first 2 weeks, I was in physical pain. Now, if you've been smoking maybe 4 or 5 years, it's probably not as bad. But when you've been smoking more than 10 years, the physical pain is terrible. I did not sleep. I would wake up with sweats. I would literally bowl over. I would get into the fetal position because the cravings were so bad that it caused physical distress. Now, like I said, I put that in the middle. Childbirth is at the top of that list. I mean, there is car accidents. There is losing a limb, that kind of thing. But childbirth is still at the top. Anything other than childbirth is, well, death. So, yeah. So on the pain threshold, anything above childhood, anything above childbirth, you're probably dead. So, yeah. So, so it was physically. So the idea of trying to go through that again, it's a passing fancy when I'm watching it on TV. And as soon as I see someone light up a cigarette and remember all the things that I went through to get to this point, I don't even want to touch it. So we don't have to worry about that. And like I said, I've been doing a little bit of flexing in the mirror. Chest is starting to poop out a little bit. Stomach is still there. Stomach is still there. We are working hard. If you think that you're going to get rid of your belly in 30 days, you're not going to do it. It's time. It's work. Oh my God. And I'm in that stage where, I'm eating healthier and it's coming out of everywhere, girl. Leafy green vegetables, a lot of fruit. It is coming out everywhere. I mean, if it's not coming, if I'm not burping it, it's the other thing. I'm not even going to get into it. We don't need to go down that road, but you just heard me burp. and I ate half an hour ago. Half an hour ago. So yeah, so that is the pain that I'm going through right now. And it could be worse. You know, we are in 3 months. It's almost been 3 months now since quarantine. And March 15th is when I got laid off. And it was from March 15th and probably until April something or other, April 3rd, April 4th, something like that. It was food, crying, and whatever booze that I had nearby. Me and the liquor store became good friends those first few weeks. And then I woke up one morning and said, you know what? This is going to be going on for a long time. Unless you plan on dying of cirrhosis of the liver, we might have to go down a different path. So, you know, looked up, and like I said, I've talked about this before, went to school, signed up for some online classes just to keep my mind busy. Didn't think I would really get into it as much as I've gotten into it. I love taking these online courses. They have all these masterclass courses and all this other stuff. But I'm like, I kind of want to get a job. I don't want to learn how to play basketball. I don't want to learn from Steph Curry how to play basketball. You know, I don't want to do all of that. I should have taken an Oprah class. I think I'd be a much better podcaster if I take. You know what? I might take the Oprah master class. But I think I kind of have some of that down already. I just can go back, you know, for free. I could just go back and watch all episodes of Oprah and figure out what the fuck she did, because, yeah, I want that Oprah. I want that Oprah stuff. You know, I want some Oprah to just rub off on me, you know, just get all the Oprah juices that she has and just rub it off so that I can, you know, get that Oprah money. And I know that sounds disgusting, but remember, I'm gay. So when I say Oprah juices, you know what I mean. Don't take your mind in there. Do not take your mind there. Don't try to make me straight. This is not an episode of the Chappelle Show. I'm not trying to get no babies out of this. You know, I just want some of that Oprah mojo to just work its way over here. And like I said, I'm not spending $100 and some on a master class. I think master classes are great. I do. I think if you want to learn how to cook or do something like that, that's fine. But I'm a master class in playing basketball. Why? I watched the commercials and I went, that's Steph Curry teaching a master class on how to play basketball. And I guess if you want to be a better basketball player on the court, on the basketball courts around town or what have you, I guess it's worth whatever money that you're paying for it. I guess. I know that a lot of those courses, by the way, I think that if you grabbed onto it, those first 4 weeks, I think, were free. So if y'all had any idea, if you grabbed those courses, good for you. Any of you out there who grabbed all those, because they just came out of the woodwork. You know, I went on the computer hoping to play video games one day, and there were ads for online courses for 4 weeks free. Everywhere. They were everywhere. Good Lord. You know, I thought, you know, in the old days, when you pop up on your computer, there would be porn everywhere. Literally porn sites, or how to get your big. Okay, I'm trying to form the words here. There'd be porn that would pop up on your computer, especially if you had a virus. And I think that if you have these things still popping up on your computer, you have a computer virus. Get that taken care of. But porn would pop up. How to get your dick to work would pop up. How to get your dick bigger would pop. Everything about how to get the dick big. How to get the dick big was, I mean, my God, we are obsessed with the size of our penises. I mean, every time good Lord. Even when I check my junk mail, because every now and then I have to check junk mail because sometimes when I get emails from people or what have you, somehow or another they end up in my spam folder. I think I might have missed out on opportunities because I was going through my spam folder trying to find, I ordered something online and I haven't gotten a response back from the seller. So I was trying to figure out how to do that. So I went under my spam to see if maybe they did send me the information on when I was going to get my package. And there's everything else. There are so many ways that I can fix my penis. So many ways. You ladies, I don't really have much going on. You don't see ads for, well, I mean, there's a lot of ladies who are trying to give me their vagina in the spam folders. And they call me up and they say my name too. Dear Joel Tatum, my name is Cindy and we need to get to know each other. No, we don't, Cindy. We do not need to get to know each other. There is, click. Okay. Stop sending me Cindy. I think one time I went, Cindy, sweetie, maybe you can reach out to the other ladies who are sending me these kind of emails. Honey, I'm gay. I'm like super gay. I mean, like really, really, really gay. And I don't mean in the sense of masculine, feminine gay. I mean in the sense of I love men gay. I mean, I'm super gay. There's no amount of what you were showing me down there that's just going to make me go, oh, I'm going to try that this week. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm going to give that a try. It's not like it's a piece of cake. When you see an interesting piece of cake going, oh, that cake looks spectacular. It looks so delicious. I'm going to get that. But no, that's not how it's going to go for me. So Cindy, please stop sending me stuff in the spam folder. I was just looking for a package and not that kind of package. You're not getting this package. So you can stop doing that. Now on Twitter, in the Twitterverse, I have been, and I think we have talked about this before, and I'm going to keep talking. OnlyFans. If you don't know what OnlyFans is, it can go. It is for people of all sexual orientations, and it has a little bit of something for everyone. In the porn category, so to speak, real people doing what real people do best, which is have sex. And everybody should, if you've been in quarantine, I know that some of y'all are probably sick of looking at each other. Yeah, at first, maybe the first month, the first few weeks, the first month, whatever, you were probably, y'all were probably getting dick down all over the place. In the living room, in the kitchen. If you got kids, I know that might be a little harder. Maybe you were in the tree. Maybe you went out to the she shed or the man cave. Maybe you went into the attic. Y'all were having a good time. But then after a while, y'all just got sick of looking at each other. You're sick of looking at your kids. And it's going to be a long summer for a lot of y'all because, most of these kids were supposed to be in school. And you could handle them during the summer because you could just ship them off somewhere. Summer camps in Texas are supposedly going to open, but guess what the summer camps are saying? Nope. No. If you thought you were going to send your kid off to summer camp, a lot of them are saying, no. You can keep your kids at home. Find your own summer camp. Because you can keep your kids at home. But the Texas governor did say that, summer camps can't open if they want to. But like I said, a lot of the summer camps in Texas are going, no, keep your kids at home. So I know that y'all are driving each other crazy. Y'all don't have no place to take these things. I keep saying these things. Yeah, I don't have any place to take these children at all. It is driving y'all up the wall. I feel so bad for you. I cannot complain. I can get up in the morning when I feel like it, watch anything I want to on TV, open my Twitter when I try to read my news and get slammed with a lot of dick and, that kind of thing. And I don't have to worry about whether or not little Timmy is going to pop up and grab my phone and accidentally see something that he's not supposed to see. So I don't have anything to worry about that. I can make whatever I want to in the kitchen. I don't have to fight with the little one. I don't have to hide in the closet to eat some cookies or some, or to have a little chocolate to myself. I don't have to sit on the toilet and have 19 people knocking on the door going, mommy, 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 mommy. You know, I have a lot of heterosexual female friends, and there is nothing funnier than seeing or hearing their stories about how their kids are driving, their kids and their husband. It's not even just the kids anymore. It's the kids and the husband. You poor ladies. You poor ladies. And some of you gays out there who have kids at the house too. I don't want to forget my gays out there who have kids at the house too. Y'all going through the same thing. Yeah, this is where we are now we're starting to find a little bit more common ground, because gay families and straight families, y'all are sick of those kids. I know y'all are. Y'all are coming up with new and inventive ways to find just a little bit of you time. And I know y'all have thrown phones and tablets and laptops. Y'all probably went online and said, okay, 4 kids in the house, each one needs a laptop so they can stop driving me crazy. Let's do it. Let's spend that money. I'm going to have to open my 401k just to keep these kids busy. I feel bad for y'all. I really, really do. And you know, it just goes to show, for the grace of God, there goes I. I know I said that wrong, but you know what I mean. So, we've had a good time so far. Have we not? You know, I skipped last week, and I'm sorry if I skipped last week. Y'all know, like I said, it's been a little rough for me. It's when you're alone, it can be a little rough. And sometimes I envy some of y'all out there who have your husbands, your wives, your kids, or what have you. Sometimes I envy y'all because y'all got all this noise going on in the background. And, you know, that's a good thing. It's like I said, the grass is always greener. The grass is always greener. What looks good to me doesn't necessarily look good to you, and so on and so forth. So I know that y'all wish y'all had your you time to yourselves. And you know who I really feel bad for are couples who are, it's just the two of them. And I know y'all work has saved so many marriages in the past. When you have work and you have something to do outside, has saved so many marriages. Oh, Lord, divorce lawyers are going to be having a field day when this shit is over with, because y'all are starting to really get to know each other, and some of y'all are not liking what you see on both sides. Not just the women. Let's call this equal now. It's not just the women, it's the men. You heterosexual couples, I know y'all are starting to understand something. Y'all don't like each other sometimes. And some of y'all are starting to figure out y'all don't really like each other. Lesbians are having a good time. They are having such a good time. Lesbians, they know how to nest. They know how to do this stuff. They already got all that stuff out of the way. Good Lord. You want to see how lesbians are doing in quarantine? Lesbians are the happiest people right now. They are so freaking happy right now. Lesbians know how to nest. This is nothing to them. They can go years. If this went on for years, lesbians would rule the world. I swear to God, everybody else would be in the streets killing each other, but lesbians will look out the window going, look at that. We gonna be all right. we gonna be all right. It's all right. I see that the Donnelly's house is coming up. Looks like they're about to kill each other. You know, we might get that 4-bedroom house after all. Look at that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, lesbians are the ones having a good time. Gay couples, maybe not so much. You know, we're still men. We kind of whores. And I know that for a little while, y'all have been it's been cute. It's been so cute. Y'all look at each other and go, he's so cute. Look at him. Just walking around, belly hanging out. You know, he used to go to the gym every week. Now look at him. Belly hanging out. Ain't put on a pair of clean underwear in weeks. Had to tell him to go take his shower this morning. Literally had to push him out of bed this morning to tell him to go take a shower. I have to tell a grown ass man he needed to go take a shower. Had to throw away normally I had to Zoom an intervention because all he's doing is drinking. I had to call people on Zoom, and I had to do a Zoom intervention because, and no, we're not going, This is the dilemma that gay men are going through. Like I said, lesbians are having a good time. Lesbians will be just fine. If y'all are worried about if there's going to be any human beings left, lesbians, they got this. They got this. Heterosexuals and gay men, we probably going to kill each other. And when I mean kill each other, I don't mean that the two groups are going to kill each other. I mean everybody within those groups are going, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, goodness. Y'all have heard burps. Y'all lucky y'all haven't heard the other stuff. You know, there's other stuff going on too. I'm so lucky and so blessed that these that this microphone is not that sensitive, if you know what I mean. But this is the thrill of eating. Wow. I don't understand how vegans do it. I do not understand how they do it. I'm still eating meat, but there's I balance it out the meat with more green stuff, and there's green. I mean green. I mean, when I mean green, I'm not talking about Jell-O shots, and I'm not talking about green ice cream, mint flavored ice cream, right? I'm talking about greens. I'm talking about stuff that grows outside in the ground with some avocado. Avocado has been my shit for the last few weeks. I swear to God. I would eat avocados at work all the time. And then when I get home, because I didn't know what to do with them. You know, I didn't even know how to cut. I had to take a YouTube video on how to cut an avocado, because I would try to slice through the avocado and broke a knife one time. I broke a knife trying to slice open an avocado, not knowing that you're only supposed to slice around it and then take the knife and slap it into the seed to pull it out. I was literally slicing through avocados. And I'm like, I don't want to go through that work. And then I had to watch a YouTube video, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. Even though I work in a restaurant where I've seen them, where we have avocados on stuff, and I have seen them cut, inside the avocado, but I've never seen them pull the seed out. I always thought that the ones that they got at work, I thought they were de-seeded or something. That's what I thought for the long. I just thought that the avocados came in without the seed. So all you had to do was just cut it, and that's it. But the avocados in the grocery store, no, you got to go through you got to cut through it and all this other stuff. Yeah, I literally had to take now I'm not that bad of a cook, but there are certain things that I don't use. I learned how to fry chicken for the first time. Do you know, 52-year-old gay man does not know how to fry chicken. And I'm black too. You would think that I would know how to fry chicken. Do not know how to fry chicken at all. Had to take a tutorial. YouTube, y'all. I'm telling y'all want to learn how to do shit? Go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube. I learned how to make some ramen on YouTube. Finally made fried rice, and I don't even own a wok. But I tell you what, I went on Wish. Now, let me tell y'all something about Wish. let me tell y'all, if y'all are using Wish or geek.com, and we are in the middle of a pandemic. If you have ordered stuff on either one of these apps, y'all know how long it took before the pandemic came along. Y'all know. Now, I have ordered stuff on either one of these apps and literally forgot that I ordered stuff. And then come home from work late at night and go, what in the world is this? I don't recall that I ordered, and then there's my name right there. And I'm like, I ordered this 3 months ago. What is this? And then open it. Oh, surprise, surprise. It's such and such. And if you are ordering from, you know what? By the way, I'm going to tell y'all right now, men and women alike, do not order clothes or shoes from either one of those websites. Do not do it. I'm telling you right now, do not order, because the sizes are, Americans, we kind of big. Okay. We are big people, and Chinese, the Chinese people from China, when I talk about Americans, I'm talking about everybody. I mean, I'm talking about the mix. I'm not talking about just white folks. I'm talking about the mix. We are all American. You born, raised here, whether you came here, born or raised here, fourth, fifth generation, I don't care. If you are American, you are American, and that's all there is to it. But the Chinese, they're not a big people. So the clothing sizes and the shoe sizes, a little bit different. Like I said, from Amazon, I ordered a pea coat in extra large. It showed up, it was extra small, even though it said extra large even though I made sure it said extra large. So extra large for them is not extra large for us. So please don't order any kind of clothes or shoes from either one of those websites. Now, I will tell you this, fantastic bargains on some electronics. I'm not ordering a laptop from, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I know it was $99. You saw it and you went, oh, a laptop for y'all can't be that cheap. You know, you can go to any number of stores and get a laptop for $200. A decent laptop. Don't order no laptop from Wish or Geek. But you can order, like, here's what you order when you order from any of, and let me tell y'all what y'all need to order when you order from either one of those websites. You need to order, here's what you need. Order little light sets, cute little light sets that you can hang around the house, like the little spiral lights that you can hang around your curtains or your window sills. You order some cute little kitchen gadgets that you're gonna throw in the drawer and never use again. Those one time, like the egg slicer that you're gonna use once because you made hard-boiled eggs a couple of times and you felt like that knife wasn't doing what you needed to do. So you waited 9 weeks for an egg slicer to come in. And it's a good egg slicer. Don't get me wrong. It is a good egg slicer. It works. It works perfectly fine. But you will never use it again. That is what Wish is for items that you will never use again. Those are the same items that I will go to Goodwill and see and go, oh, that's an egg slicer. And it's 99 cents. I'm on it. I got it. I got this. Throw it in the basket. That's what you're going to order from these sites. You can get some great phone protectors on there. They have some really great phone protectors. Like I said, sometimes you get something in a week. Sometimes it takes 9 weeks. Whatever. I'm just teaching you everything that I have learned while being in quarantine, because I have ordered quite a bit of shit. Mostly from Amazon. Now, for the stuff I really needed right away, it's all Amazon all the way. Maybe Wayfair a couple of times. Let's see, where else did I ordered? I'm looking at some T-shirts now at this. Those funny T-shirts at this one website. I cannot remember the name of the website. I'll look it up on my phone later. I fixed to do it. I'm not going to go walking to the other side of the room to go do that. So little gadgets and doodads. I bought what did I buy? Oh, a selfie stick. Even though selfie sticks aren't the thing anymore. Go figure. I always get on the tail end of shit. And that was $2.99. The shipping was $5, but the shipping was $5. And I actually got that one in a week. I really did. I got that in a week. Now, we talked about this on the Red Mixer Diaries. My pride and joy, my red mixer that's sitting on my counter, which only took a week. Amazingly enough, even during this pandemic, it took a week. My workout gear, on the other hand, not so much. I'm still waiting on that. But all the stuff I needed for the kitchen, if I want to eat, all my stuff came in the kitchen. But if I want to work it off, I'm still waiting. Looks like it'll be July by the time I get it. And by that time, I won't have any interest in. I'm gonna be too tired to do all of that. So I'm just giving you some shopping advice. Get your immediate shit on Amazon. Get you some doodads and some fun little things on wish.com or geek.com. Don't buy no electronics. Do not buy. You can buy those little game control. They have the game controllers you can buy. I bought a very nice one for my computer. Very, very nice. I paid a little bit of money for it because I wanted a good one. It's a wireless controller for my computer, so I can play my games on. So spend a little money on that, by the way. Go ahead. If you need a controller, spend the money. Don't buy no $5 controller. It's only going to last you for a few weeks, and then it goes in the trash, and you've literally thrown something else into a landfill that'll end up in the ocean. Spend the money on those little kinds of electronics. Spend the money. Don't try to save a buck. Spend the money. Get yourself something that's going to last you a long time, especially if you're a gamer. Spend the money. Now, my next purchase, which I'm not going to do right now because I don't think I need to do that right now. I am going to be investing in a wireless keyboard for the computer because I do play, even though I have a controller, there are some games that I prefer to play on the keyboard. So I will be getting a wire, and because I'd like to be able to I'm lazy as fuck. I know I've been working out and stuff, but on the days that I've been like super lazy, there is nothing neater than being able to take my keyboard, lay on my couch with my blanket, and play whatever game I'm playing with, especially if it's one of those long RPG games where you have to perform 19 different tasks before you can actually make it to the dungeon or what have you. So, so that would be my next purchase. I'm not doing that now because now, and I've said this, and I will say this again to you out there for all of those. And I know some of y'all are just now getting your unemployment. Some of y'all just got laid off and you had to go through unemployment and you were surprised by the checks. Now, that extra money will go away, I think, by the time July or August. So save your money. Here's what I tell you to do. Pay all your bills immediately. As soon as you get that money, pay all your bills. Get them all paid. Get all of them paid. Just go on ahead, pay your rent, pay all your utility bills, get all that shit paid as soon as you possibly. If you can get it a month ahead, get it a month ahead. If you have, for a lot of y'all, and for a lot of us, I know that we are probably still the phones are being cut off. If you have a phone, your phone should not be off. No phone. If your phone service turned your phone off because you couldn't pay the bill, get rid of that phone service when this shit is over with because they don't like you enough. Because trust me, Comcast, who I use for my phone, amazingly enough, for my cell phone, they do have a cell phone service, amazingly enough, sent me a letter saying, hey, we're not gonna turn your phone off, but we're gonna have to make some arrangements so you can pay the bill later on. I paid the bill in full. I made sure the bill was $400. I paid it in full. Pay your bills. Pay all your bills. Fill your fridge full of groceries. Now, back in the early days of the quarantine, it was hard to get stuff like toilet paper and all that other stuff. And people were hoarding shit. And for all of those of you who were hoarding shit, can you please explain to me why the toilet paper rack aisles are still somewhat empty and y'all leaving all the cheap stuff behind? Y'all buying all the good shit, but you're leaving me with the cheap stuff. I'm glad that there is toilet paper there. Thank you, Jesus, that there is toilet paper still available. But y'all taking all the good stuff. And thankfully enough, y'all must have learned y'all lessons because the wipes haven't sold. The wipes are full. Those racks are full. I think people understood exactly. Do not flush. Y'all probably had to. Few of y'all probably had to have the plumber come out and take care of your septic tanks because y'all were flushing that shit down. I told y'all not to do that. I have told y'all repeatedly, do not flush wipes down the toilet. Now, maybe because I took a break last week, y'all decided that, Joel's not here. Let's go ahead and flush the wipes down the toilet. Y'all learned that the hard way, didn't you? When the plumber had to come out and dig in your backyard to fix your septic tanks because y'all were out there flushing this shit down the toilet. Don't do that. So I think y'all have learned y'all lesson from these wipes. But y'all taking all the good toilet paper. Y'all really are. Y'all leaving me with that one-ply shit. I mean, that's the stuff I use at work. I don't want to be reminded of work. You know, I'm going to have to go back sooner or later. And I know there's going to be sometime in June, hopefully. Maybe, I say hopefully, but I don't really. But, but that's going to be sometime in June. And I need my 2-ply back. Y'all need to stop buying all. Y'all should. Half of y'all should be selling your shit on eBay. And by the way, if you bought all that toilet paper to sell it on eBay, shame on you. Shame. Everybody knows your name. But y'all don't need to be doing that. So can y'all please leave the. Thank you for leaving dishwashing liquid behind. I appreciate that. I still had to buy Cascade in the bottle. In the liquid stuff, you know, I haven't used. This has been very interesting. This whole quarantine thing when it comes to washing dishes, I've had to use the powder. I haven't used the powder since. When was the last time I used the powder? Oh Lord, I can't remember the last time I used the powder. I remember the last time I bought a powder. I bought it from the convenience store, and I had to tell y'all something. This shit was hard as I couldn't get the powder out. It had been sitting on that shelf for that long. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I go to this store. This is the store I used to buy my cigarettes from all the time. I didn't buy anything else because I didn't really trust the shelf life of most of the things that were in there. Now, I might buy like some sodas or Gatorade or stuff. And if I was in the mood, maybe those big, tall cans of beer, 2 of those, and you good for the night. But for the most part, that was the first time I bought something off a shelf because I was so desperate for dishwasher liquid. I did not want to have to wash dishes by hand. I needed it for the dishwasher. And I bought the powder. I got it home, and it was $9. Yes, that's what I said. It was $9 in that big, tall box. Got it home and couldn't get the stuff out. It had been sitting on the shelf for so long. So thank you for leaving me dishwashing liquid that I have to use in the sink to wash dishes. I now do have dishwashing liquid for the dishwasher, but not the pods. I love my pods. You know, the pods have all the stuff in it. Y'all just left me with the liquid, which I don't mind. Once again, I did buy the powder. I did find 1 box of the powder back in March. I found 1 box. I don't know why somebody didn't want it, but I managed to find the last box. And the little old lady who looked at me when I put it in there and looked at the shelf and then looked at me again and then looked at the shelf. And then I was already halfway down the aisle in front of the thing at the checkout. When I got there, I said, sorry, I feel bad for you. I need this more than you do. So please, thank you for at least leaving me the liquid detergent for the dishwasher. Once again, I live in an apartment building, and the dishwasher isn't super modern. It's probably from the early 2000s, maybe the late 19s. So the dishwashing liquid actually works quite well in this. The liquid actually works well. I think the liquid was made for these super old dishwashers that still work. I mean, they still work. Don't get me wrong. But if you live in an apartment building, and if you live in an apartment building that's older than 1955, most likely that dishwasher is from 1975. So, yeah. So I'm okay with that. So I'm just very thankful that that's happening. Like I said, I realize that I have talked about all kinds of stuff. You know, I have, and we're gonna talk about this very soon. I have been having a good time watching a lot of gay media, and at first, now we only have a few minutes left in the show. That's gonna be next week's talk. It's gonna be all gay media. That is next week's show. I promise you. It is going to be all gay media because I've had a good time watching some documentaries. I have had a good time watching maybe one or two couple of movies. Gay cinema. It's just chock full of interesting movies. By the way, I'm saying interesting in quotations. I hope that you can hear the quotations. I really hope that you can hear the quotations when I talk about gay cinema. Because gay cinema is very interesting. However, gay documentaries, on the other hand, are amazing. They have been so amazing. And I have to talk, I know that there are some parents out there. I know that some of y'all, a few of y'all are heterosexual. What I would like to know is, what did you think of the last season of She-Ra? Because it was amazing. I know She-Ra, I'm a 52-year-old grown man watching She-Ra. And I swear to God, cartoons are so amazing. They are so, Steven Universe, Adventure Time, all these cartoons are so amazing. And it really started back in the 90s. This is when I really got into cartoons. Back in the, I've always been a cartoon guy. But, I grew up on Warner Brothers cartoons, the classics, Tom and Jerry, Woody Woodpecker, all that other stuff. But the 90s came around and changed my entire world on cartoons. And I thought that by the time I reached a certain age that I'd be done. Nope. They just got better. They're more interesting. And let me tell you something, that season finale, the series finale of She-Ra, I'm not telling any stories, any spoilers, because we're going to talk about that next week. I swear to God, we're going to talk. I was going to talk about it this week, but then I got to talking about all kinds of stuff and having a good time. Someone told me that if you're not excited about what you do, then stop doing it. And I went through a little bit of a period last week where I was not excited about doing an episode because it's just me. It's just me. I don't have my round table here. I don't have my homegirls sitting next to me. We have had some interesting times since then. So, coming up with stuff, I was not excited. So I'm like, I'm going to give myself a break, figure out why I still want to do this. And I was going to make a decision about whether or not I still wanted to continue to do this. But I've had so much fun talking to y'all. It's ridiculous. I've had a good time. I forgot how much fun this could be. When I first started this show, it was me and somebody else. It had always been me and somebody else. And, I was always with the person. And if you could tell from the old episode, I was always with the person who loved to talk. I could barely get what I had to say in half the time because I was always with a person who loved to talk, and they loved to tell stories, and the stories were funny and everything else. So I was always with people who loved to talk. So I, who have always been a big talker and who loves the art of conversation, thought to myself, how the fuck am I supposed to do a podcast when it's just me? Who am I supposed to be talking to? And I realized something. I'm talking to you guys. You may not agree with everything I'm talking about. You may not like some of the things I'm talking about. And I have reached out, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, that little gay talks, so we can talk about it. .com is the website, the web page. Go there. I have a couple of blogs that are up. I have a video of the week that shows how I'm feeling that week. Right now, I got a little skilo. Wish I were a little bit taller. There is a story behind that, and if y'all go to the website, y'all can read why I picked that particular song. Because, like I said, I have been reading a lot of stuff. I've joined a lot of gay groups on Facebook. LGBTQ of Houston, or LGBT of Houston, or I don't even know what they call themselves. They have changed in the entire time that I have been in quarantine. I think they have changed their name 3 times. This group has changed their name 3 times. I rarely post things. I'm going to start doing that a little bit more often. I'll occasionally, if they have like one of those, would you do this, blah, 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 blah questions or what have you, and then I'll chime in with something cute or something like that. I joined the over 40 crowd in the gay men section, and it has been illuminating because I've learned that we're all lonely, sad, pathetic individuals over 40. A lot of us have, I've read some of those stories. Some of these queens, their husbands left them for children, like heterosexuals. And everybody's talking about marriage. Left them for people half their age. I'm like, I feel like is this Lifetime? It looks like a life. The over 40 LGBT group on Facebook. Now, this is everybody. This is not Houston. This is everybody from all over the place. So you don't have to be from Houston to join it. But it seems like everybody's husbands just left them as soon as they hit the 15 to 20 year mark. Husbands just ran out the door with somebody half their age. And I have learned something from this, from reading all those stories. It's one, you know what? You are going to be all right. All those guys who got left for men half your age, you're going to be okay. You're going to survive. And you know why you're going to survive? Because your husbands were ridiculous people. They were obviously ridiculous people who were still looking to be young. And that motherfucker needed to go. And if he needed to go hang out with some 22-year-old, that relationship will burn. They'll be brokenhearted, even worse than you are. You'll have moved on and been fine by then. They'll be brokenhearted at a bar somewhere talking about my 25-year-old husband left me. You are 60 years old. How long did you think your 25-year-old husband was going to be with you? And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with a May December romance. There is nothing wrong with it. If you are truly in love with each other, more power to you. I have seen those kind of romances where it does work, and they are the happiest couples on the planet. But for the most part, and by the way, in those relationships, usually both people are single. They are not in a relationship with someone. Maybe the older person might have been in a relationship with someone, but that was like years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. And they just happen to, those relationships work. And those relationships are, I think those relationships are great because those relationships work. But when you leave your husband at 25 years to go hang out with some 20-year-old, you deserve what you get. And to those men on that website, I tell you right now, you will be fine. It's harder, and for some of you, and you will understand this, I feel for the ones whose husbands left them for someone their own age, because you are going to go through a lot more. It's one thing when it's a 25-year-old. It's funny. It's ridiculous. You are heartbroken. You can't believe that you built an entire life with this man and he ran off with some young dick. And you've built an entire life with this man. Later on, you will have a good laugh about it while you're getting your own 25-year-old dick or dick from somebody else. You'll be fine. It's when they leave you for someone that's the same age as you, that's when it's the hardest. Because that's when you know that it's really, really done. That it's over. It's not, it's done. Usually, and like I said, in some cases, some of those men will come back begging for your forgiveness. They were going through a thing, and they want you back, and they realize how much they love you and miss you. You know, that's one thing. But when they leave you for someone who's closer to your age, that's where it hurts, and that's where the pain is going to be for a while. And for those of you queens who are going through that, I feel for you. You're going to be fine, but it's going to take you a lot longer because then you have to process the fact that your relationship just didn't work anymore. It wasn't the fact that the other partner just needed to run through his wild oats or was going through a midlife crisis. That truly says that your relationship is over when he leaves you for someone who's the same age as you. So that's going to hurt the most. And that's who I feel bad for. So for those of you in that over 40 group, 90% of your husbands left you for a younger man. Y'all going to be fine. Y'all are going to be just fine. You're going to have a good laugh about it. When some of y'all might see your husbands again. Some of y'all, not a large amount. Don't get your hopes up. For those of you who are holding out hope, don't get your hopes up, honey. You probably were better off. But for for that small percentage of men whose husbands, or whose husbands left you and they didn't hook up with anybody else after you. Those are the relationships that I feel for. That's where the real pain comes in. And I'm not discounting the other pain. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But on the brighter side, you're going to come out on the other end a lot happier and a lot sooner than the person whose husband either left them for someone their own age or left them to go out and do their own thing and decided to stay single after your relationship. Because that says that both of you didn't belong together. And that's harder to deal with. So I'm going to leave you with some interesting tidbits here. I am not straight phobic. I want to press this out to a gentleman out there who said, Joel, I love your show, but you rag on straight guys all the time. Because straight guys are fun to rag on. Y'all are just fun. Y'all are just so much fun to rag on. It's ridiculous. I have a lot of model straight friends, who are model citizens, who obey the law, who don't give anybody any trouble. That's, not all of you straight men or ragtag dogs. A few of y'all are okay. And I know a few of those guys who are okay. So you'll be fine. So I am not straight phobic. Do not accuse me of being straight phobic. We have we have a little bit of time to catch up to y'all. We'll catch up to y'all in about 3 or 4 generations, but eventually we'll catch up. But for right now, it's can we have our fun? Y'all have been having fun at our expense for God knows how long. Can we have a little fun? Can we have a moment? The moment that we try to get our own little stuff, y'all always say that I don't need to be slammed with all this gay stuff. Really? Because every time I turn around, it's heterosexual stuff everywhere. Billboards, TV, music, the bars, my bars. I mean, I'm literally slammed all the time. And y'all worried but 1 or 2 gays come into your life every now and then and suddenly you're slammed with all this gay stuff. Y'all need to cut that out. Just cut it out and just enjoy a little bit of rib tickling. Y'all need it. And I'm going to press on, and we will see y'all next week. We're going to really talk gay media, gay cinema, gay TV. Gay music is pretty much, it's pretty self-explanatory. Gaga, Rihanna, all the rest. Y'all be fine. I am reading a book, David Ellison. Which will be coming in tomorrow. We will talk about that. I'm actually going to have him as a guest on the show. He expressed some interest in being on the show to my 8 followers out there. So I will be having a guest author, David Ellison, will be on the show. But I'm going to read his book first. I'm going to tell y'all something. It looks like it's a really interesting memoir. So I'm going to give you some little tidbits and little hints about what the book comes tomorrow. I don't have a Kindle. I thought about buying a Kindle a long time ago, but then I was like, I like books, and I am one of those people. I love tech. I really, really do love tech. Really, really do. If you've seen my house, I love tech. But when it comes to books, when it comes to reading, I like books. There's something about holding the book in my hand, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I'm going to say, see y'all. Wouldn't want to be you. Hashtag foolish. And all that other good stuff. And, the generic one. Hashtag podcast. Yeah, we're a podcast. You already know that. But I had to put a hashtag. SSO shit. That kind of stuff. So we'll see y'all later. Because I could, Because I could keep going. I honestly could keep going. I'm having such a good time. Y'all make me feel very good. Y'all really do. Y'all out there, I'm so full of love of what I do and so full of love for you guys. And I want you to know something. Be well, be happy, do the best you can. And that's all anybody asks you to do. Love, peace, and as a friend of mine said, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye.